TikTok. I hope you guys are doing well. Um, Natasha, my co-host. If you guys, excuse me, I'm sorry. If you guys have been on the Monday night show with Tim Dameron and Natasha Jordan, we usually have this up on TikTok. Usually every Monday night, or yeah, it's Monday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. Then we have Bible study on Sundays at 6 p.m. So sometimes I get the days confused. But anyway, she was telling me that a lot of people had questions, that a lot of people were not really understanding maybe exactly what this debt and foreclosure class is. And we have a debt and foreclosure class tonight. So those of you guys that are wanting to understand both sides of the platform, and when I'm saying both sides of the platform, that platform being the public and the private side, okay? And this is an area where we have just like mystery money, where stuff just happens. You ever notice that? Like for example, you go to your bank and you see up there that every deposit is insured for up to 250,000, right? FDIC insured. We got you, right? And then they loan my friend down the street 450 for a house. But wait a minute. How did that happen exactly? See, that's that mystery money we're going to be talking about. And what we have to understand really, and I'll just give you a sneak peek of it, is that we are in pretty much a cashless system already. Those of you guys worried about them, taking the cash away. They've already taken it away. It's gone. So what we have right now is we've been reduced down to basically accounting, okay? And there are groups out there that are teaching you guys to not learn anything about this and say, it's bad. And then you got me that's saying, hey, you know what? If we discharge all of our debt, number one, we're not going to be paying any more taxes. Number two, we're going to get it back. Ooh. Now that's the board we want to be on, right? See, I woke up in 2015 and I started seeing how these companies are doing business. And I started seeing that, like, when you're doing taxes, you're not doing your taxes, you're doing your employer's taxes. Because, I mean, your little pile of stuff is like this big, right? But then all your employer stuff and everything else, that's like the most important, and that's got to happen because, I mean, you can't do anything without that, right? Yeah. So whose taxes are you really doing? And I think they give us just a little booby prize for showing up, those of us that are still getting returns. Really. I think that's really what it boils down to. Now, those of us that aren't getting returns, that's because we've got a lot more commerce going on in our lives, okay? Typically. And what's happening is that there's a lot of presentments probably that are going to the cash window. We're going to talk about that cash window, okay? This is the Federal Reserve cash window, and it's in every bank. It's in every hospital, just about. It's in every, and I say just about, it's sometimes hospitals have like little satellite hospitals, but basically they all hook up to one hospital. Well, that one hospital, typically in the basement, there's a bank down there. That's right. Bankruptcy court. That's another place you're going to hear discharge at. Anywhere you hear the word discharge, there's a bank there. Anywhere. Let's talk about that. Where do we hear discharge at? We hear it in bankruptcy court, right? We hear it in criminal court. We hear it in civil court. You know, you need to discharge your marriage or discharge your divorce case. Huh? You heard that? Yeah. Discharging your probation. You discharged your, your bankruptcy case. You know, after so much time, it discharges, right? So when we hear this word discharge, when you start putting all this together and you start really looking and paying attention, because that's what I did, I started to see that there was something a whole lot more going on that they weren't telling us. That means that there's a whole lot of back-end stuff going on, okay? I spent 23 years in the car business and 8 years as a finance director. That's right. I was an F&I manager, finance director, worked in the dealerships for a long time. My grandfather used to own a car dealership in San Antonio called Jordan Ford. And he sold it to Group 5 years ago. But so, I mean, I grew up with this stuff in my blood. And don't get me started on my uncles and my aunts. I grew up with this stuff. So I saw all this stuff happening, and I'm hearing these words discharge, okay? We're going to be talking about it in this class. Now, what's going on behind me? What's this picture here? Now that you guys are all on, you see this picture back here? All right, I'm going to lean back here. So that orange thing right there is actually my car. And over to the left over there, that's the police. And me, that's me standing right there with the police. This is another cop, and the tow truck driver is over there. I foreclosed on my lenders. That's exactly what I did. And I took my 2019 Lincoln MKZ Hybrid Reserve 2. Anyway, I took that from the bank. And how did I do it? Well, there was a couple of things that had to change. The first thing that had to change was my mindset, okay? And when I say your mindset, what I'm saying is where are you in this contract, okay? When you look at a security agreement, okay, which is what happens when you're doing a car deal, Brandon Joe Williams is sure throwing a lot of that around right now. Ugh, that's going to blow up in people's faces. I'm just going to tell y'all now. In the next 90 days, y'all are going to hear people getting their car. You're going to see people getting their cars picked up. Watch. And the first one that picks up the phone and tells the bank, hey, we're not making those payments because we did this, that guy is going to, that person is going to get their car repossessed right there off the bat. One of the things that will breach your contract, even before it's even due, is a refusal to pay. If you refuse to pay, that's it. They come and pick up the collateral. And the bank didn't pay anything for the car in the first place. I'm going to tell you guys I'm going to go through this entire process on how it works. I'm going to tell you how these car deals get billed. And I'm talking from my seat, from the finance director's seat. What did I have to do to get these deals together so that they could get funded? Those were words that we used in the business. Huh? Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that tonight at 6 p.m. I have a class coming up. It's a 2-day class. It starts tonight. It's going to be from 6 to 9. I have 2 seats left. So if you guys want to join, this is a good time to get in. Go to my website. Or you know what? You could just call my office if you want to. If you go to my website, houseofyah.communityoutreach.com, and just call my office. Call my office phone. That's totally cool. I never call it. Huh? So I'm like over here just drawing a blank. Like I should be telling you guys the phone number, right? It's only my phone number. My bad. Well, we're human. Some of us are, at least. At least that's what I'm told. Anyway, call my office. If you guys are interested in taking this class, you can call my office today. It's 210-605-0144. That's 210-605-0144. Call my office. Don't call it right now, but just wait till we get off the air here and give me a call. If you guys want to ask more questions about the class, or if you guys want to ask questions here, you can type them up down here at the bottom. That's kind of what anyway, I was told that that's probably what you guys wanted to do. You kind of wanted to see what was going on. But anyway, that's no good. Anyway, somebody was trying to call me. So in the next slide, basically what happened here was I went out with my documentation, and I'm talking about real stuff. I have a firm mailing book, and this is something else I'm going to teach you guys how to use. So I walked out with my firm mailing book. I had testimony from the carrier that said who my package got delivered to, and these guys, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So basically, what happened was we had a discrepancy in payments, and they asked for X amount of dollars. I said, my payment's supposed to be this much. And we didn't agree on that. I couldn't get anybody to fix it, adjust it, couldn't get anybody to do anything. So I wrote them a letter and sent them the entire payment, everything that they asked for, just sent it to them. But I also said that you need to show me in my contract where it says you can do that. Show me in there where it says that you can change and you can change the terms of the contract after we signed them, because I don't believe that you can do that. And I'll give you a hint. Failure to service the contract. If they fail to service the contract, that's a breach of contract. The next move, enforcing the contract. This is what happens when they get mad. Oh, were they furious. They could do nothing. And I've actually done this twice in the last 4 years. I've paid off 3 other cars in the meantime. And because those lenders did what they were supposed to do, and we had a good contract and everything was fine. But what I'm going to teach you in this class is how to deal with these lenders when they're not operating a contract. How many times have you heard stories about people getting held in limbo? Oh, my bank messed up my account for 6 months and I had to do this and this and this. And what did they do? They just took their licks and went and told you about it. That's it. No recourse. Well, if you're in a contract and they're supposed to be servicing you, and those tables ever get turned, you need to know what to do. You need to know how to operate. This is where my expertise kicks in. And like I said, I had no problem. This was done. The next slide after this, cars in the driveway. Tow truck driver got arrested. And later, we ended up actually billing them for $6,000 and got paid too. So in this class, I'm going to show you how to do all that stuff on top of fixing credit and stuff like that. Of course, I'm going to give you the 1, 2, 3s on getting your credit fixed. It's pretty easy. It's simple. And it's not all this cloak and dagger stuff that everybody else is yakking about. I haven't seen much in that area really perform well, but I did. And in my process, I actually went to the credit bureaus, sent them the documentation to actually have this account removed from my credit bureau. So this account was removed. The car was surrendered to me, and I own it. And then these guys thought they'd be really cute. And these guys thought that they'd be really cute. And then they decided to send me my payment back. So for 3 months, they told me they didn't have a payment. But then all of a sudden, now I get the payment back. And now why did they do that? I'm going to talk more about this in the class. But the reason that they did that is if they had accepted any consideration on that car, I would have a legal claim to it. So by them sending that back to me, it gives up their position, but it also fires me from my equitable position. At least that's what they're thinking. So they're thinking, aha, he's going to get the check back and then we're going to steal the car. So we get a free car. I'm serious, man. This is what happens when you're dealing with the legal department. They're a bunch of egotistical people. And in this class, I'm going to show you how egotistical and how easy it was to spot them out and know exactly how to make them cut their own throat. Yeah, I didn't do it. They did it. And it all resulted in that. Yeah. For $600 and I don't know, I think I have $613 in the car total. But this is how powerful we can be in our position, okay? And I'm going to show you how to use both sides. I'm going to actually show you how these unilateral contracts, I'm going to show you how they make money. I'm going to show you how to recognize the contracts that you have around you, like your lease contracts, like your contracts with Rent-A-Center, for that couch or that hi-fi audio system, whatever you got going on in your house, whatever that is, or any other security agreement that requires you to perform. I'm going to show you how to recoup, and not only recoup, but actually profit on those. This is something that people out there in TikTok land aren't talking about, okay? They're scratching the surface of stuff. They're still trying to steal cars and hustle cars out of people's car lots. I mean, I've seen it, and it's ridiculous. We can do better than that, okay? Here's what we can do, and this is what I did. I learned the system, and I learned how these contracts flex back and forth. I learned who the most powerful person in the contract actually is, and what position they need to be in to execute that. Then I learned some basic principles about honor and dishonor. Okay, these are things I'm going to go over in my class. But I know it sounds like, well, we know what honor and dishonor is. Everybody knows what that is. Yeah, we do. But I'll tell you what, it's just not in practice much these days. A lot of times we just dishonorable, and we expect honor out of it. So if we define those areas, and you know exactly where your standing is, That's when you challenge jurisdiction. That's when you start challenging positions. That's when you start checking people for real and you start flexing on them. And you know what? I don't care how big they are. They're going to give it up. They're going to give it up. And I've been doing this a long, long time. Like I said, 23 years in the car business, 8 years as a finance director. I know a lot about vehicles and I know a lot about contracts. And when you know who all the parties are in the contract and you know what to do and how to operate in the contract, that's when you've got some wiggle room, you know? I mean, it's like you get to really perfect your position. And when I say wiggle room in the contract, because when you know, hey man, awesome, thank you, glad you're here, and hey, check out my videos, man. Real results, real solutions. We do Bible study. We put Yahweh first. He's absolutely amazing. And I got to tell you, man, I didn't learn any of this stuff from watching a man. Okay, I didn't learn any of this stuff from listening to anybody or following anybody. Sure, I know who Jordan Maxwell is. Sure, I do. And all the rest of them from back then too. You know, I met most of them. But they didn't have any answers, man. They had some great ideas. But they couldn't confirm anything. The stuff that you're going to learn in my class is real. I'm going to show you how to read your truth in lending statement on your security agreements and how to cash those. Did you hear what I said? How to cash those. Yeah, place them for deposit. Did you know you're supposed to get the note back after you pay off your stuff? Did you know that? Because after you're done performing, you're no longer the borrower anymore, are you? So what does that make you? The beneficiary. It makes you the beneficiary. Somebody's asking me about my thoughts on Eon. I think that's the guy with the micro trust and then the other whatever trust. Is that who you're talking about? He has like a micro trust and a mini trust or some 2 little trusts, 3 little trusts. I don't know. Is that guy? Run fast. He has no idea what he's talking about. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be hateful because I'm not trying to be hateful, but I'm just going to tell you, I listened to the guy, and here's where this guy is just broken as can be. His trust is operating in his head and his head only. It's not actually doing anything in commerce. And he isn't really a part of his trust, so he's not really operating his trust. He's more like an innocent bystander when you listen to him talk. But then he talks in circles, and then we'll tell you that your trust is, that you're going to be the beneficiary of your own trust. So after you get done running around in circles with the whatever trust, and then you get the other trust, and then after the 2 trusts are trusting, then somehow it filters down to you. That's kind of what I got from that guy. And I'm going to tell you, man, that's a wild goose chase, man. You know what? I have a UCC and trust class. I can explain this process. I can tell you from here to the lake. Every step that you're going to take, like the police, the band. Seriously, I mean, it's a pretty easy process to explain. And I got to tell you, one of the things that sociopathic people will do, and sociopathic people like to hear themselves talk. Okay. These are people that are not right in the head. Okay. Maybe it's not their fault. Maybe it is their fault. I don't know, but they're just not right. They're not healthy. Okay. And the problem is that, we're healthy and we think that everybody's healthy. We think, when you shake somebody's hand, I mean, it's not going to turn into, a snake on you or something. It's going to remain a hand and you're going to shake hands. This is all what we're thinking because we're in our matrix, you see. But those guys, they're not what you think they are. They're just not. And I'm going to tell you, those people that aren't well, there are people walking around, I believe, that are just in human suits. And there's just nothing there. Anyway, it's not complicated as folks make it out to be. All these notices and letters, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's really not as, you're exactly right, Jeff. It's not as complicated. And all these noticing, let me tell you, if they won't tell you their real name, they're probably full of it. Okay. Because if they're not telling you what their real name, my name is Tim Dameron, by the way. But if they won't tell you their real name, then they're probably lying to you. And if you guys want to Google me, look me up, you'll see that, man, I've been through some stuff. At age 19, I took an appeal, a criminal appeal, all the way to the United States Supreme Court. I've been there, okay, personally. And it was ridiculous. But because it involved, well, because it might make police officers look bad, they decided they didn't want to hear my case. And they do that. The Supreme Court only hears so many cases. That's the rule that they say. Actually, I don't think they hear too many cases. That's what I think. But nevertheless, if it involves any kind of public corruption or anything like that, the Supreme Court, they wash their hands on that. They don't want to make any rulings on that and get people fired. They got to keep the boat afloat. So they don't do that. So anyway, that was the first thing that I learned in the system. I was 19. I'm 52 now. And ever since then, I've been pushing this, and I've been learning this, and I've had a fantastic working career. I've owned restaurants. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate it, man. I've owned restaurants. My family's worked in the car business for lots of years. I have 17 uncles and additional aunts. One of my other aunts used to be the county clerk in Bexar County for 33 magical years. Yeah. So I watched all this stuff happening around me. And one day in 2015, I woke up. Yahweh flicked on the lights and said, "Hey, child of mine, get up." And I was touring with my band. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that too. I was also a professional musician. I play 13 different instruments, and I've toured with lots of different bands. This is before the beard, by the way. And it was about 10 years ago. This is the last time I published a song. But anyway, I was coming back from, I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I was coming back from Colorado Springs, Colorado. We just did a few shows out there up in Denver, and we came back through Colorado Springs, came back home, and I fired my band. I don't know why I did, but I just did. Fired my band on the way home, and then as I was cleaning out my RV, Yahweh spoke to me, and he literally spoke to me and said I was going to get in that RV and I was going to tell people about him. And I was like, "With my guitars?" And he was like, he didn't answer. But it was an amazing experience. It was overwhelming in more ways than I can verbalize, but it changed my life. And from then, you know, some of you guys might have read that verse in the Bible. It says, like, in the end times, there's going to be a vast explosion of knowledge. Well, that's exactly what happened to me. I felt like Keanu Reeves hit me, you know, like I just got hit with a bolt. And I started just falling apart, man. It was so much information, and I was processing so much information so quickly. It took me about a year to just figure it all out, to try to figure it out. I mean, it took me about a year just to process it all and verify it and live it and do some of this other stuff. So here we are now, 2024, and I got this contract thing down pretty good. Now, if you're going through a foreclosure, if you're going through a bankruptcy, if you're going through any kind of debt issue, okay, if you're in a court case, we're going to be talking about that. And I'm going to give you the tools to win, okay, to absolutely win, okay? And I don't care if they run you over in a court or not. Just go appeal it. Be ready. He's going to set the bond high. But you know what? You go appeal it, and you shut him down. And when you do that and you start standing up in your communities and you start standing up there, what happens is those stuffy people in those black dresses up there, they start remembering who you are. Because to them, you're like a dog that just went to the refrigerator and got a beer out of the fridge and came back and brought it to them. They're like, "Oh, how did he do that?" Write that down. And what happens is they start letting people know that, not that one. Not that one. Shh. Let's go do this other one. not that guy. That's the list you want to be on. That's the one you want to be on. And I'm going to tell you, that's the list I'm on. I've actually absolutely been on that list. And when you start living this process and it starts becoming a part of who you are, it's kind of a spiritual thing that kind of happens. It really does. I've walked into courtrooms, in Ohio, jumped on a plane in Texas, flew out to Ohio, was in court that morning, and shook the entire courtroom in there. Why? Made everybody in there nervous. Who is this guy? What's the big deal? They can't know somebody? They can't know me. And what happens is your vibration starts to change, okay? Who you are starts to change. If I didn't have this picture on in the background, behind me, I have coins that are actually stuck on the wall. And my vibration is just high enough to where put the coins to the wall and they stick there. And they'll stay there for months. I'm being serious. This is what will happen, okay? You're going to change. When this level of knowledge opens up and that third eye really opens up, weird things are going to happen. You guys have followed me on Facebook. I walked up into a pack of deer and they all just surrounded me. Like they were just happy to have me. Especially the ladies. That was really creepy. Really. I was out with a date and we were traveling around. We were in the car. And I saw like a whole group of them in somebody's front yard. And I rolled up to them and I dropped the window. You can see she's taking pictures, right? There's a picture of me dropping the window. You can see my finger on the switch. And I call her to come over. She comes out of the herd and walks right up to the car. I roll down the window because my dog's right there too. My service animal. They're fine. They have no problems. Everybody's cool. This is what happens when that third eye opens. And when that part, and I'm going to tell you, that's what this whole process has done for me, okay? Is that opened that up. And because it opened that up, it puts these dark people on notice because it lets them know that you know how to operate on both sides. The judges know that you know how to operate on both sides. And then when you start learning their little language, they really get ticked off about that too. But that's actually the second day. That's right. So the first day, we're going to talk about all the paperwork, what you do. I'm going to give you all the templates. We're going to go through all of that. The second day, 3 hours, tomorrow night. So tonight at 6 p.m., tomorrow night will be the second day. Tomorrow night, we're going to go through the legal. That's right. I'm going to show you this paperwork that we did on day 1 tonight. And I'm going to show you how it affected everything, how it went into motion. This is something that Crooked David can't do. This is something that SNR, they can't do either because they're just not doing it. And they really are just kind of running around and pinging at different things, hoping that, something's going to stick. And that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. And I don't recommend it. You'll learn, but you'll learn the hard way. And I mean the hard way. If you guys know who Lance and Derek Phillips are, good friends of mine, really good friends of mine. But unfortunately, they are just really learning things the hard way right now. They really are. And I love them both dearly. But there's a way that we have to operate. There's a way that we have to do things. And if we learn to walk that line, and not only do that, but walk the line better than they do. This is that honor and dishonor part of the class I was telling you about. If we learn to do that, you're unstoppable. Did you hear what I said? If you learn to do that, you will be unstoppable. When it's time to come and take your property back, hey, I've done houses, cars, jet skis. I don't care what it is except for collateral. I've done it. And last year, I had 2 of my students that actually foreclosed on their lenders, on their mortgages. And I'm going to tell you how they did that in the class. I'm going to tell you exactly how they did it. They used the same templates and paperwork, but they added a couple of things. And I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to show you how they did it. And these cases went to court. Do you hear what I'm saying? They went to court and they left winners. This is how we're supposed to leave. These courts are supposed to serve us. Okay? They're not supposed to serve these corporations. These corporations shouldn't have the power and the flex that we do. And they don't. In this class, I'm going to prove that to you. I'm going to show you how that actually works. But more than that, I'm going to prove it to you. Because once you set a record, once you create a record, once somebody corrupts that record, the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine steps in right away. Because if they corrupt it, and that's it, then everything that they've done from the top to the bottom is garbage. It's inadmissible. Can't use it. I'm one of the few people also that has operated, and I have another class. I have a travel and driving class, and we talk in that class about administrative claims. Really, really powerful class. You guys want to learn about how to shut them down? I've done it. Google my name, Timothy Damron versus Houston County, Texas. I have a $13.8 million lawsuit filed against those monkeys. And as a result, their entire sheriff's department has been defunded. The jail has been closed. The place they beat me up in, the sheriff's office, is closed. They lost their TCOT certification, so they can't carry guns either. So there's no more crooked sheriff's department. Now, why can't we do that everywhere? Why do we have to just come out here and post videos and play the victim? Why? I'm reading your thing down here. It says involuntary bankruptcy. Oh, no. They can't do that yet. They're going to try, but they can't do that. And actually, when we do these lawsuits, you guys, let me tell y'all something. Truth of the matter is, they're all friends. All of them. Professional courtesy to the hilt. Okay? They're all friends. Our job is to move in equity. Our job is to create a record. Okay? And once we create a living, breathing, attainable record, okay, then we have the ability to enforce it. That's one of the gifts that we have, that we get from Yahweh with having this body, this temple that we use, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you guys are interested in joining that class, it is going to be tonight at 6 p.m. I've got 3 seats available. I'm sorry, I think I said 2 seats earlier. I have 3 seats available. I'm going to probably get off here in just a little bit, but when I do, you guys can call my office directly, 210-605-0144. Give me a call. I want to have an interview with you first. I want to talk to you. I want to see what your expectations are. You might have some, monkey in the living room you're wrestling with. We could talk about that a little bit, and then maybe I could sculpt this class more your direction. If you know somebody that maybe has a conviction, a conviction. Those are public debts too. Did you know that? And those are dischargeable through the IRS. I'm going to give you guys the forms. And in most cases, they don't do it. They don't. In other words, the state or whoever prosecuted the inmate, whoever, they typically don't notify the IRS that that's what's up. They just put you in long-term care is what they do. And by doing that, by putting you in long-term care and not notifying the IRS about the conviction, it nullifies the conviction after the fact. I've got the form letter, and it basically what you'll do is put in your information in there. You send it in, and what's going to happen is more than likely you're not going to hear anything from them, because I didn't. More than likely you won't hear anything from them because I didn't. But what will happen is that whatever they have on file for you in that county, they'll redact all of it because they don't want to get caught. Mm-hmm. It's true. So I'm going to share with you that form. We're going to talk about monetizing your leases. And Def is talking about tax evasion. What are you, gaslighting me over there? What's that supposed to mean? We don't do tax evasion around here. Absolutely not. Actually, I have a tax equity and discharge class coming up in December, and I'm going to show you how to discharge all that stuff properly. You know those guys that are talking about the remittances and what to do with them? What if I told you there was a specific window at a specific place in your specific town that you need to take them to? Yes, they're putting people in long-term care. That's anytime anybody goes to jail, goes to an old folks home, they go into long-term care. Mm-hmm. At the post office. Ooh, revocation of election. I don't teach revocation of election because you don't need to. You don't need to revoke anything. I don't understand. He says that's what you meant by tax evasion. What do you mean by tax evasion? Oh, long-term care? It would be tax evasion? No, not at all. If you're in long-term care, then the IRS is put on notice that you're not going to be filing a tax return. Yeah. That's when Grandma goes to the old folks' home. But she doesn't have to file tax returns anymore. They take all their Social Security money. It goes into the unit there, and then and what do they do to the inmates? They take all their money that comes in too now, don't they? And they hold it in their little prison account now, don't they? Mm-hmm. And then all that money that comes in, then they tax it out of the inmate. Literally 1099 the inmate for funds that they received from the jail or from the institution. Yeah, that's why it's such a business, man. It's a business. It's not tax evasion. It's just using the system. It's just using the system. No, revocation of election, I really don't recommend doing any of that. And the reason why is because you need to step out of your infancy. You need to build on top of your Social Security number. Okay? Don't try to hide it. Don't throw it in the trash. Let's use it. This is the difference between you and a migrant. Let's use it. Let's figure out why these guys walked 3 million miles with their bare feet to get here. They did it because they want that privilege too. Yes, so a person could clear their record this way. I did. Hey Jesse, how are you, man? Oh, good. Well, good, man. And then I'll give you a call as soon as I get off the air here, and we'll talk some more about what we were talking about last night. Cool, man. Thank you. Good. Glad you made it, man. Glad you made it on the call. Anyway, so yes, that class tonight is going to start at 6 tonight. Paperwork goes out today at 3 p.m. Central Time. It'll be on an Uber conference board. Get in this class. It's a powerful class, and I mean, and here's the results. And if you guys want to see the actual the scene by scene by scene, and the next scene after this is that the cops are gone, the tow truck driver's gone, and my car's back in the driveway, and I'm walking back up to the drive. This was done with my doorbell camera, so that's what I got there. Awesome, Freddie. Thank you, man. Well, hey, if you guys want to give my office a call, obviously don't do it right now because I'm on the air, but wait till I get off the air here, but give us a call, 210-605-0144. Thank you, man. Yeah, if you guys want to talk about tonight's class, get into tonight's class. The cost on the class is $475. All proceeds benefit the House of Yah Community Outreach. We're a full-on nonprofit. We're set up to help our vets and anybody else that we can help. Anybody else I can find, man. Happy to do it, man. Anyway, feel free to give us a call at the office here, 210-605-0144. 210-605-0144. We'd love to meet with you. I'd love to talk with you. Now, people that are going through big debt stuff and you're about to do a foreclosure. I'm sorry. You're about to go into foreclosure. You got cars. They're about to come pick those up too. You're just in a bad spot. I talked to somebody like that this last week. So here's what we did. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago. So here's what we did. We went and we filed bankruptcy. That's right. They went and filed a Chapter 7, stopped everything. Then they took this class. They took this class last month. So they took this class. They're using all the letters. And now they're writing every single creditor and having them validate the debt. And here's the plan. What's going to happen is by the time they show up to the creditors meeting, they will not have answered any of that stuff. And the judge is going to dismiss, if he's doing what he's supposed to do, and he should because this has worked before. The judge is going to dismiss this bankruptcy because there will be no valid debts and they'll be all discharged right there. Boom. That's happening. Isn't that cool? This is the stuff you're going to learn from this class. You're going to learn how to watch all the angles of your credit transactions so that you really see what's going on. We're going to talk about the truth in lending statement. And I'll throw you a little, some cheese on that. How's that? So when you look at your truth in lending statement, and what's a truth in lending statement? Okay, well, the truth in lending statement is that little block. It's like a set of blocks that's on your security agreements, okay, for your car loans, stuff like that. And it says, okay, here's your APR. Here's your payment. You're going to make 72 of them. Here's the interest money. And then you got this, and then they break it all down, and then you got the big number on the end. And that's the one that you look at it and it says when everything's all thrown in after 74 million payments and after 30% interest, you got, boom, that number. And it scares the hoo-hoos out of you. You know what I mean? You look at it and you're like, dang, we've got to pay this thing off quickly, honey. You sign a paper, right? Well, that little number, or that big number over there is actually how much your security agreement is actually worth after you perform. Oh, perform. You mean I'm going to sing for it? Kind of. Kind of. What you're going to do is you're going to run around the calendar every month and make those payments. That's called performance. It's not about the money because we don't have any money. It's about you acting like there's money, see? So now you're performing, aren't we? You guys, this is equity. This is stuff your teachers aren't teaching you because they don't know. They don't see this far ahead. This eye is closed for business. It's just closed. It's not there. This is the one I'm trying to show you, okay? Because once this opens up, you start to see in everybody's stuff. You start to see how deficient things really are. And you start also seeing how easy it is for you to walk the line. And I'll tell you, knowing all this and all this happening has made me a better person, a much better person. But anyway, this class is going to start tonight at 6. I'm going to send out paperwork between 3 and 5 o'clock p.m. tonight. So you guys will get the templates tonight. If you don't get the templates and you signed up for the class already, those of you guys that are on here already, if you don't get your templates by 5, call me at the office, 210-605-0144. Call me at the office and let me know, okay? Oh, thank you, man. I'll read this comment because this is a good one. Tim is the very best. Alert your inner circle about Yah, and the class is available. Thank you, man. That's very cool of you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let me tell you, man, my students, none of them are sitting in jail. None of them are in trouble. And all of them are doing pretty cool stuff. Some of us have 508(c)(3)s. Some of us have 501(c)(3)s, nonprofits. We're all doing different stuff. We're all doing different things. I've been teaching for 8.5 years now. So, you meet lots of different people. And but anyway, does anybody have any questions? If you guys have questions, man, I'll answer them. Anybody? Thank you for all the hearts, man. I appreciate that. That is so nice. Thank you so much. Awesome. Well, listen, I'm going to get off the call. If you guys want to interview for the call, or not really interview, but if you want to call me and let's talk before you guys sign up for the class. I got a couple of different ways you can take the class. If you want to take the class and maybe just sit in the class and participate and maybe just wait on the documents, because I might be full of it, because I'm not, but let's just say that you might think I might be full of it. You can actually sit in the class for only $175. So if you want to sit in the class tonight for $175, you can. But then if you want the documents, the recordings, after that costs a little, then, you'd be another $300. So if you want to do the whole class, it's $475. It's a 2-day class. We're going to roll tonight from 6 to 9 p.m. Tomorrow night, we're going to be doing nothing but legal. And we're going to be doing that from 6 to 9 p.m. tomorrow night. I'm going to go through every piece of paper that I used on this bank, on this vehicle, and how I took this car from them, step by step. And I'm talking about getting a clear title, everything, okay? How did I do it? And how did these guys leave themselves, more importantly, what kind of a hole did they leave themselves wide open to for this to happen? I'm going to be talking about that tonight at 6 p.m. Central Time. Thoughts on endorsement of a certified complaint. I don't know. Who are you doing it? Well, an endorsement of a certified complaint means that you have an endorsee that is speaking over the certified complaint. That's basically what that means. Depending on the context. It just depends on the context it's in, my friend. I hope that helped. Oh, absolutely. So if you wanted to jump in the class, this is a great question. This young lady here is telling me that, Miss Serena here is telling me that she has to work till 7:30. And so that means that she won't get into the class till probably 8 o'clock. Will there be recordings for the class? Absolutely. We'll have a recording for the class. So if you end up jumping in late, you can still participate. You can still jump in. And nobody will haze you too bad in the class. No, I'm kidding. My classes are very small. I usually try to keep them under 5 people because this is your personal information and you're sharing it with me. So the smaller the group, the more intimate the group is. And I feel like we can accomplish so much more. I've helped people. Like I said, I had 2 students last year that foreclosed on their lenders and took their houses from them, just straight up. And just to put this aside, they do have your note. Yeah, those of you guys with your mortgages and they're telling you, oh, they don't even have the note. Oh, they do have the note. I promise you, they have the note because my students are getting the notes back. After they pay off the house, they're getting their notes back, and then they're placing them for deposit. Do you remember that big number on the truth in lending statement on the far right? That's how much those notes are worth. So on I think the last one that I saw was like on a $119,000 house, but the security agreement was worth $237,000. More than the house. So we talk about the banks double dipping all the time. Well, that's cool. Let them double dip because I'm going to show you how to double dip too. And what are they going to say? You saw Bobby do it. That's what we say when we were kids, right? Anyway, if you guys want to learn more about this, call my office. I'll be here at my office all day. 210-604. Gosh, I almost forgot my phone number. No, I did forget my phone number. Sorry. 210-605-0144. 210-605-0144. I look forward to speaking with you guys. Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I hope to see you guys in class. Be blessed.